Hi everyone and welcome back to Christina Does. Today marks week 2 of my 30-day vegan challenge for the month of January. And this week I decided to do something a little bit different. So over Christmas, my husband and I were gifted a juicer from one of our family members. I figured this challenge was the perfect opportunity for me to challenge myself in order to try to juice on a budget, as well as somehow manage to fit it into my $21 a week budget that I've set myself. Now, if you're someone who doesn't really like to eat a lot of fruits or vegetables for whatever reason, and maybe want to try to incorporate a little more into your diet, juicing offers a supplemental way in order for you to get a variety of vitamins, minerals, and nutrients from fresh produce that you may or may not normally do just from incorporating them into your meals or your snacks. There are a couple ways that you can actually juice on a budget, and here are my 3 tips. So number 1, buy your fresh produce in bulk. Chances are those bag of apples or oranges or whatever fruit or vegetable it is that are sold in like the 3 to 5 pound bags are typically cheaper than if you were to buy those items individually. And it does help make, in this case, juicing a little more approachable and a little more cost effective. Now, my second recommendation in order for juicing on a budget is to check your sale papers. Pretty much every grocery store every week will come up with a sale paper or an advertisement that they either put online or print out and put in their stores. I'd recommend going through those either while you're at the grocery store or even beforehand if you can, and somehow see if you can come up with some unique or tasty options in terms of juicing combinations. And last but not least, number 3, don't discredit the as-is section. Now typically in most grocery stores they have a little cart or a little section for as-is fruits and vegetables, but I highly recommend perusing the as-is section to see if you can find some different fruits and vegetables that normally would have been a little more expensive, and see if you can find them at a discounted rate, because either they're going to go bad in a couple days and they need to be used up really quickly. Maybe there's one that's bruised or something along those lines, or a section that's a little wonky looking. But as long as you're comfortable with the opportunity of maybe like, oh, you can just cut off that section of the fruit or vegetable and the rest of it's totally fine, or I can definitely use this produce before its expiration date, then go right ahead. Again, it's whatever you're comfortable with. Now when you're juicing, typically you get 2 things from it. You get 1, the juice, and 2, the pulp, which is the fiber of the fruit or the vegetable. And depending upon the water content of your fruit or vegetable determines how much fiber and how much juice yields as a result of doing juicing. Now normally people just tend to think, oh, well, it's such a waste doing juicing because you have all this pulp and you're gonna throw it in the trash. Don't throw the pulp in the trash. That'd be awful. Normally people just see the pulp and they think, oh, let's just throw it in the trash. There's no way that I can use it for anything else, but that's not true. I will also include a link below that outlines the different ways that you can incorporate that pulp into your life in some capacity. And in this case, I'm going to take the pulp from a lot of my fruits and vegetables that I will be juicing this week and add it to my different recipes. So every single meal that I will have this week will incorporate pulp from every single fruit and vegetable that I will be using during juicing. And I think that's a pretty cool way that you can actually add that extra fruit and vegetable fiber and those extra added missed minerals and nutrients back into your diet. Now let's go ahead and get started with the rest of the video, where I will once again show you all the things that I had to purchase this week for groceries, and then I will also go over these 7 different juice recipes that I will be having for this week. And it's a different juice recipe every single day is my goal as well. And my ideal goal for this challenge is that my juicing budget is half of my actual total budget for the week. So my total budget is $21. So $10.50 is my goal for juicing for this week, which is lofty expectations to say the least, but I'm going to try to remain optimistic about it and have a good time regardless. And then the remainder of my budget will obviously go to food. So let's go ahead and get started, and I hope you enjoy these recipes. Okay, for week 2, I ended up getting some things not only for juicing, but also obviously for making meals. So the fresh produce, the oranges, beets, the parsley, and the ginger are all going to be for the juice, and pretty much everything else is going to be for food. And again, I had to go to 2 different places, just like last week, in order to get everything for my meals and for the juicing. And for groceries, it ended up costing $16 plus $4.55. So I still managed to stay under the $21 budget at $20.55, which is pretty great. And I'm also going to be using the remainder of produce, fresh produce that I had purchased last week for the juicing and for my recipes in general too. So stay tuned for the total price breakdown as well as the recipe walkthrough. Just wanted to show everyone how much juice was left despite the 7 days of juicing snack. There's still quite a bit of just plain apple juice, and because I really liked the orange carrot beet combo, I went ahead and combined all the remaining juices and just put them in the orange bottle for storage. So there's quite a bit of juice that I haven't used for the week, and I will do my best to try to tally that into the final count, or probably I'll just drink what's left of it because it's delicious. Okay, so now that we've all gotten an opportunity to see the 7 different juice recipes that I made, as well as the large amount of leftover juice and pulp that I had as a result of doing this juicing challenge, let's go ahead and talk some numbers. So my initial goal for this week was to spend no more than $21, not only on groceries, but also on my juicing budget as well. And my juice budget for myself was $10.50 for the whole week, and my food budget for myself was $10.50. Now most of you are thinking, you're crazy, Christina. There's no way that's possible. And in this case, you are 110% correct. So the total cost for all of the fresh produce that I used for juicing, including the apples and the carrots and the celery that I had left over from last week, was $13.28. So that is a big fail for me in terms of staying on budget. Now the great thing is I had a lot of leftover juice, so I ended up having 2 cups of juice a day, but I kind of wish that I had measured out the exact amount of fruits and vegetables that I needed for the 7 different juices I made in order to sort of be a little more cost effective. Now granted, I made some of those juice combinations up on the fly and just kind of hoped that it would work out, so there wasn't really any sort of basis for comparison. But I probably could have done some extra research online and found something to help me out in the meantime. So that's on me in terms of cost. Now the second fail, as you probably figured out, is the food budget for the week. So that left me with $10.50 from the initial ideal goal, and even less than that as a result of me going over budget with the juice. So this week I ended up going over my budget on groceries as well, and it ended up costing me $21.04. So had I been doing this challenge, just the food challenge by itself, probably would have stayed on budget. Probably would have. And there's a couple things that I wish I had known beforehand before I decided to purchase them. So oranges ended up being like a 1/4 of my total budget, and the other 1/4 of my budget ended up being that almond meal that I used for the lentil meatball recipe that I included in the description box below. In the end, I ended up failing this challenge as a result. So if anything, this will give me an opportunity to really learn from my mistakes for the remainder 2 weeks of this challenge. So let's discuss some positives for a moment. Now with the 7 juice recipes that I tried, the 2 that I like the most, the number 2 spot is apple and carrot juice. That one tastes so good. It's a pretty classic combination. The creaminess of the carrot juice really balances out the sweetness of the apple juice, and it ended up tasting really light and refreshing. And my favorite juice, which was kind of surprising and I didn't really expect it, was the beet, orange, and carrot juice. I kind of made that recipe up, and it ended up tasting amazing. Like amazing. It never would have occurred to me in a million years that beets would pair well with oranges and even with carrots, and that it would somehow make this happy relationship and party in my mouth. But it did. And so that was pretty awesome to find out. And I have a feeling that I will incorporate that recipe into my future meals, even beyond this challenge. So I hope you guys all enjoyed this challenge. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks. Bye!